Whether deserved or not, the Nintendo Switch has earned its reputation as being a port machine. There have been so many classic games re-released on it, remastered, redone, refactored, retooled, in some way plussed on the Nintendo Switch that it's not really hard to see why the system thrives as much as it does. Up first, we are going all the way back to the Sega Master System, and we are looking at this guy right here, Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. Originally debuting in 1986 on the Sega Master System, Alex Kidd in Miracle World is a 2D platformer. You go through, you're able to break bricks, you're able to attack different characters, and you make your way through. And in 2021, we got a re-release called Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. This is done by Merge Games, and there's some really neat stuff at play here. So you're able to hot swap between the classic Master System version as well as the updated graphics. And there's some nice changes of play here that you're able to put in as well. You can actually update the hitbox a little bit so it's a little bit more forgiving. You can give yourself unlimited lives, which you'll need because Alex Kidd is a very difficult game. There's some really, really fun stuff in play here. And one of my favorite things is that actually you get a full color manual, a keychain, and a reversible cover for the game as well, so you can actually make it look like the Master System release, which is pretty cool. There's some neat kind of like customization options as far as like localization goes. Things like being able to change the food that Alex eats from onigiri or hamburgers or omelets or stuff like that. You're able to update it and kind of tailor it to how you see fit. It's an absolutely fantastic, fun, challenging game, and it's something that I really think a lot of people should try out because it has aged shockingly well for something as old as it is. Next up is a game that's been ubiquitous for like 3 generations. It keeps getting re-releases, but that doesn't change its quality. And from Ubisoft, that game is Rayman Legends Definitive Edition. While maybe not meeting the standards of a re-release or a remaster of other games, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition is something that I really think everyone should pick up if they have not had the opportunity to play it on other platforms before. This only adds a couple of things. It adds every character to one console that was released on previous consoles, as well as adding the tournament play for Kung Foot, but that's really about it. Other than that, it's just a classic Rayman game. Now, if you have not played Rayman Legends, let me sell the game to you. One, it's super cheap. Like when I picked up my copy of Rayman Legends, I found it at Target and I think I got it for $8. Like it was one of the end cap games and they're having a particular sale. So this, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, is normally a sub $20 game. It's a budget title that does not play like a budget title because it is a couple generations old at this point. This originally released on the PS3, the Xbox 360, and the Wii U, and then eventually ported up. So it's been on pretty much every platform generation since it originally released back in 2013. But the game is just, it's magnificent. Like this is some of the best platforming action that you're going to find anywhere. It is gorgeous to behold, an absolutely stunning art style that Ubisoft just does so much better than anyone else when they let themselves kind of go crazy. And it's just so much fun to play. There's tons of levels. I think there's like 300 levels in this game to go through, so you're going to have a lot of playtime here. There's a bestiary, there's different heroes that you're able to unlock and play as. It's just kind of the gift that keeps on giving. I absolutely adore this game. It is definitely worth picking up, and it's something that I think a lot of people may have overlooked for some reason or another, maybe because of the Ubisoft name, but I would strongly urge you to go past that and try this game out because it's magnificent. Taking it back to the PS3 and the 360, this is a fantastic game that kind of got overlooked on that generation and has seen new life re-released on modern consoles, and that is Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. I thank my lucky stars like every day that when I applied to work at 38 Studios that it was not picked up because, oh my goodness, the mess that was that company. But let's talk positively about Kingdoms of Amalur here because this game is kind of a revelation. When you look at the pedigree behind it, you have Ken Ralston as the executive designer, R.A. Salvatore created the universe and the lore, Todd McFarlane did the artwork, and Grant Kirkhope did the music. Like, that is a superstar lineup of people working on this incredible game. If you don't know who they are, I really suggest you look them up. Ken Ralston in particular is kind of incredible, and it's super cool that he worked on this because he's just a legend in tabletop gaming and in video games. Like, he was one of the guys behind the Elder Scrolls, which is, like, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here if I keep talking about this, but like, he's a really incredible person, just an absolutely amazing designer. Now, Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning is another open-world RPG, sorry Gary, but it's something that the Re-Reckoning version of the game did a lot to improve upon the original. Now, I'm so thankful that THQ Nordic ended up picking this up. Re-Reckoning is a really great release. I really enjoy the world that was established here. I mean, how can you not with a pedigree behind the people that worked on it? But the Re-Reckoning release of the game gives you the original version of the game, as well as all of the DLC from the original release, and upgraded graphics. The gameplay itself is fantastic. It is a grind. It is a definite RPG, so you're going to be putting a lot of hours into it, but if that is the kind of game you love, it's worth taking a shot on, because this shows what Western developers can really do with the RPG genre. Kind of like what Elder Scrolls has done in Fallout. This is something special.
One of my favorite series that got its start on the PS2 has seen a re-release today on the Switch, and that is KATAMARI DAMACY REROLL.
I fell head over heels in love with the original KATAMARI DAMACY on the PlayStation 2, putting so many hours into it. Like, it's something that I played regularly up until the KATAMARI DAMACY REROLL re-release on the Switch. And the main thing you're going to get in this re-release is updated visuals. Like, it's now high definition, it looks great, it still has that signature Katamari look, so nothing is like super cleaned up, it still kind of looks like a bizarre cartoon. But the game itself is just fantastic. You are able to use the Switch's gyro controls if you want to do that, but you can also use the traditional controls as well. And it just plays like the original Katamari. You get amazing music, ridiculous gameplay, fantastic just little quirky bits throughout the entire world that you're able to roll up and put together, and you have to rebuild the cosmos. It's such a strange game, but it does everything it does perfectly. Like, I love Katamari, I love this remaster, and the ability to take this on the go and have it portably or play it on my big screen at any time is just magnificent.
Back once again to the PS2 is an update to a game that I overlooked at the time and I just did not enjoy, but playing it now on the Switch, the changes that are made to this version of Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, are significant, and this game is spectacular.
I'm a sucker for anything that takes place in the world of Ivalice from Final Fantasy Tactics, and Final Fantasy XII does just that. It features familiar locations, familiar character designs, and it's just a beautiful game with incredible gameplay experiences. The active dimension battle system that they put in is really fluid and intelligent and plays great, and it reminds me a lot of what actually ended up happening in Final Fantasy 15, and I think the game just does so much so well. But what really got me for this was the growth system in the game. Now, in the original one, you only had one license you were able to learn, which is kind of like a job. But in the Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, which is what this one is based off of, the re-release here, you actually get 12 different license boards. So all based on the Zodiac, and actually includes a lot of other pluses as well. You get a remastered soundtrack, some new tracks and technical performances that are upgraded, as well as some amazing things originally from the International Zodiac Job System update of Final Fantasy XII that released in Japan. Look, it's just fantastic. Like, when I first played Final Fantasy XII, this game did not connect with me at all. And playing the Zodiac Age, because I do love Final Fantasy so much, I ended up picking this up because I heard from a lot of people that it was a really, really great remake, and it just works. It is such a fantastic game. It is so worth playing, and it is just a really incredible experience that does so much so very well.
Heading back once again to the 1980s on the Sega Master System, and we have Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap.
Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap originally released in 1989 for the Sega Master System, and additionally on the Game Gear in 1992. It is a wonderful platform action-adventure, and it does a lot of things really cleverly. Like, Wonder Boy actually transforms into different creatures as you play through the game. Like, Lizard Cube and .mu just crushed the visuals on this game. It's absolutely spectacular. It is a beautiful title. The developers of this game reverse engineered the original Sega Master System code, put in brand new hand-drawn graphics with musical arrangements, and you're able to hot swap yourself in and out of the original appearance and the updated version. It's a fantastic game, and it has a whole bunch of little secrets in here. Like, you're able to use any passwords from the original game, which is pretty cool. There are difficulty settings added to it. You're able to play as a female character this time, as opposed to just Wonder Boy. There's bonus areas and things like that, as well as incorporating the FM audio for the first time in a Western release of the game. And one of the things I really like about this, much like Alex Kidd, is that you get some really awesome bonuses in the package. You get a full color manual, you get a Wonder Boy cell phone charm, and you get a mini disc original soundtrack of the game's audio. You have a reversible cover as well, although it's not as cool as the Alex Kidd one, giving you the Master System cover, but it's still really neat. And I love this one. Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap is a magnificent pickup, and it's a fantastic addition to any collection.
Here's one that's only a couple generations old, but it does not change the fact that getting a re-release has breathed new life into the franchise, and there are rumors of a new game in the series coming out, and that is Dragon's Dogma: Dark Arisen.
Now, I have to admit, the Dragon's Dogma series is something I was not familiar with from its time on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, but Dark Arisen kind of caught my eye. For one, it's a Capcom game, and I'm always going to give a little bit of reverence to that name because I just think they do such quality work. And I grabbed this thinking it looked pretty neat. Like, it's an open-world action role-playing game, and that's really right up my alley. And the game does a lot incredibly well. You have different classes that you're able to play as. You are able to hire pawns, which are basically your helpers, kind of like, think of them like Skyrim companions, but a little more intelligent. I'm trying to put this as nicely as possible because I do love Skyrim, but I mean, the companions are kind of stupid. But the ones in this game are actually pretty intelligent. Like, you can issue commands to them, but if you just let them go about their business, they're going to be able to help you out in combat. And there's some other really neat things at play here in this game. Like, you're actually able to climb on larger enemies and attack particular body parts. Feels a little bit like Shadow of the Colossus, which I think is really clever. The Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen version of the game originally started as a kind of expanded version of the original. With some improvements from the original one, it added an extra dungeon. And the one we get here on the Nintendo Switch is just that game, just plussed for the Nintendo Switch with some better graphics and good gameplay. I thoroughly enjoy this one. It's a fantastic game, and I hope this is a series that Capcom brings back because it's really well done. And I think this could actually push things like The Witcher or Elder Scrolls or any other third-person open-world RPGs to its limits because the game is absolutely fantastic. And it's a fairly cheap game. Like, Amazon has it right now for $29 American, so I mean, that's a spectacular deal for a truly fantastic title.
Up next is a change in format for a fantastic series that has seen storied releases over the years, and this is one of my favorites. It's part first-person shooter, part adventure game, and that is ODDWORLD: Stranger's Wrath HD.
I was working at Electronic Arts when ODDWORLD: Stranger's Wrath released, and we were actually the publishing arm for it, which I thought was incredible. It was something that was just so out of left field and something really different than we were normally releasing under the EA banner. We were, so used to doing Need for Speeds and sports games that ODDWORLD: Stranger's Wrath was a breath of fresh air. It's equal parts third-person adventure and first-person shooter. You actually have to hunt for your ammo that you use because you fire creatures from your crossbow that you have on your wrist. And you play as the Stranger, who is just a classic Old West hero. It's an amazing game with a whole lot of really ambitious gameplay, fantastic dialogue, and just wonderful, wonderful experiences all over the place. Now, there was an HD remaster that was released back on PC back in the early 2010s, and then we got the Nintendo Switch version in 2020. The main thing you're going to get here is just updated graphics. It looks a lot better. It's an HD upgrade, but the game itself is worth revisiting and worth playing again. I love that we got something this kind of odd, no pun intended, re-released on the Switch because it's just such a great game. I actually found this at Walmart for $4, so your mileage might vary there. It's worth looking into to see if you can find it. Make sure you are scanning the products with the Walmart app on your phone because you will get the Walmart corporate price and they have to honor that in stores. So here's a little hint for you.
Next up, a remaster from the Wii, PS3, and Xbox 360 generation, and a fantastic licensed game that does not suck at all. Ghostbusters the video game remastered.
As a longtime fan of the Ghostbusters franchise, the game that released in 2009 was kind of incredible. It was originally conceptualized as a continuation of the Ghostbusters film franchise for a movie following Ghostbusters 2, and instead what we got is a third-person shooter game. So you play as an anonymous random person who joins the Ghostbusters, and you go through the world of the Ghostbusters. Like, it's a classic Ghostbusters adventure where you use all of the classic Ghostbusters tropes, all of the fun tools, all of the different objects, and you hunt the specters, and you fill out Tobin's spirit guide. Like, It is exactly what you would want a Ghostbusters video game to be, and it was written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis before he passed away, which is pretty incredible. The remastered version does a lot very well. It updates the graphics, some of the controls are a little bit tighter, and it's a really fun game. It was done by Saber Interactive, so you know the quality is going to be there. It's a really spectacular title. I really enjoy it. I think it's a very fun game, and it's definitely worth checking out, because if you enjoy the Ghostbusters and you think that the film franchise could have gone on before what we got with Ghostbusters Afterlife, this is the game you're looking for, because this is how it continues.
Now, before I get to the ultimate one, I want to kind of give a asterisk re-release here, because this game does feature a whole lot of repurposed material from other games, even though it is technically a brand new game, and that is Sonic Mania. And this cart is really neat because it comes with Team Sonic Racing.
Alright, and while Sonic Mania does get in here on a caveat, I do think it's enough of a remake or a remaster to be included, and I probably could have put it on here in place of something like Rayman, but let's be honest here, Sonic Mania is just perfect. Like, this is probably the best 2D Sonic game ever released. You have remastered and re-visualized levels from previous Sonic games. Amazing transitions between levels, like it's not something where it just cuts out and you start a new one. You actually, like, move forward, or you see some kind of environmental thing happen in the background and you keep playing. There's tons of characters, amazing gameplay, fantastic music, and it's almost perfect. Like, it's as close to perfect as you're going to get for a Sonic game. It's a magnificent title, and if you have any love of Sonic whatsoever, you need to get this one, because it just does everything perfectly well.
But for me, the number one re-release on the Nintendo Switch is a first-party Nintendo game, and it is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
And finally, what I think is the best remaster and re-release on the console, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Now, I will tell you straight up, I haven't played Bowser's Fury yet, so this might be a little bit curious as to why this is on the list, but it's because Super Mario 3D World is one of the best Mario games ever released. Like, it is just fantastic. If you are looking for a traditionally designed Mario experience, Super Mario 3D World is the one for you, because I do think that this is as good, if not better, than some Mario 3D games out there. Like, I think it's significantly better than Super Mario 64. If I'm being honest with myself, I think it's better than Mario Sunshine, and I personally like this better than Mario Galaxy. Now, it is a more traditionally designed Mario game. Think something more like Super Mario 3 or Super Mario World. It just happens to be in 3D. It's not nearly as open world or exploratory as other games, but it is something where you're going to be going through from point A to point B to get yourself to the flagpole, but there's different things that you're going to find and different secrets that are going to be hidden throughout each level. Now, the Bowser's Fury aspect of this, which you're going to be seeing actually trailer footage here from Nintendo, is pretty remarkable. Like, this is almost an entirely new game tacked on for no extra cost, and I hope this is the direction we actually go with our next Mario game, because from what I've heard and from what I've seen, this has nothing but promise. I love this game. It is an absolute masterpiece of a Mario title and a wonderful re-release on the Switch. I'm so happy that they decided to port this one forward, because it being stuck on the Wii U when the Wii U did so poorly was a crime. This is a magnificent game.
There you have it, my favorite retro, and yeah, in some cases, not so retro re-releases on the Nintendo Switch. Let me know in the comments what your favorite re-release is on the Switch. Thanks to my patrons you're seeing on screen right now. Check out the playlist up here if you want to see some more of my top 10 lists. Until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.